What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Malazan server, and we are so far behind all of the other people on the server at the moment, apart from a couple of new people that have recently joined, and one of them's left me a sign to go to a travel trader, so we'll probably check that out, or I'll probably check that out in a bit. But what I have done, as you can see, we're in a completely different location now. I've went scouting around to look for a new sort of base place to sort of settle on. And I was going to go just completely underwater, but then I come across this island that no one had claimed. It's only about 500 odd blocks away from our main spawn town, and it is surrounded by coral reef, which is excellent. So we've got all the access to the coral reef that we could possibly want. So my first aim when I got here was moving all of our chests, and because we've not got the technology advancements of the shulker boxes at the moment, so I bred up a couple of mules, whacked a couple of chests on them, and made the tedious journey back and forth through the nether, transporting all of our stuff and then reorganising everything. So mainly just a whole lot of busy work done off camera, really. And then because we're not able to get the seed of the map, or the actual owner of the realm doesn't want us to have to see, that's purely to sort of make adventuring a little bit more fun, and even himself isn't using the seed. So trying to find a slime chunk without the seed I've never done before. So what I've ended up doing is I've sort of lined up at the corner of the map one chunk, because the map's always aligned to the actual chunks. So using Netherrack, which is clearly visible from the sky on the map, and as you can see the little red dots going across, I tried to mark up a way to get to the centre of the island. So after measuring up each chunk, so we go over here, then I've done one over here, counting each one out to 16 blocks so we know that it's exactly one chunk. And then once I got to the centre of our island, I then dug down to Y level 35, because slimes can only spawn below level 40. Then I dug out a 5 chunk sort of section in a plus sign to see if any slimes would spawn. And while I was actually setting up the recording equipment, I started heard jumping around, and we've actually got a slime just down here. So I think this is like bang on the middle chunk, so we actually need to get rid of him before we hop down, because otherwise it will kill us. Oh wow, we've got a big slime here as well. Okay, so the centre chunk is definitely a slime chunk by the looks of it, which is all happy days, because we can then set up a farm, and then trade the slime balls for the M coin to be able to buy a plot. But I think you can only donate so many slime balls in one day, because obviously the government, as I'm going to refer to it as now, only needs so many slime balls, so they don't want people overstocking on one resource. But what I'll probably do between cuts is, in order to sort of progress a little bit quicker, and rather than you see me doing all the tedious bits and pieces, I'm going to actually clear out this entire chunk and probably a border around about 3 or 4 blocks around this centre chunk. Because as you can see, all the glass, so initially I did come down here without the glass, and there was a few slimes jumping around. So I knew there was definitely a slime chunk here, I wasn't too sure. Then I put up the glass, and now we are 100%. Yeah, because they could only spawn within this one chunk here. I've made sure to separate each chunk with glass, just so that I knew which one it was spawning in. Because when I first came down here and I was clearing out this area, there was slimes jumping behind me, but they were jumping around this area. So they must have just spawned on the edge of this actual chunk. And I wasn't sure if it was that back one or this one, but now we definitely know 100% sure that it is definitely this centre chunk that is the slime one, which is all happy days. It's extremely fortunate and lucky that the centre chunk of where my island is actually a slime chunk. So I'm going to dig that out, and hopefully by digging that out it should get us the resources. But before we go ahead and do that, I want to tell you my plans of this island. Now, initially I was thinking of just making one big fortress build, but we've actually got a decent section of beach over this side. So what I want to do is actually take down the entire island by about another 2 blocks from this side, so then it's all levelled, and then put a reinforced sort of wall going down into the ocean, sort of holding it up, and make it just a little bit more secure. in the hopes to stop the drowned from coming up, because that's the only thing that seems to be attacking me at the moment is drowned. Not too sure what that hole... Oh, this hole was from where I was laying torches and it was just like a cave in of sand. And I've got to sort of fill in a few holes here. But I want to keep this beach open because I actually want to set up like a little sort of, I don't know what you'd call it, like a resort sort of area with palm trees and sort of lounge chairs maybe. And then sort of do a, I want to say Mediterranean style build. So we'll be using probably stone bricks and that to do the sort of reinforced wall going around the island, which I think should hopefully look pretty decent. We're going to like mix it up with different styles of bricks, maybe a bit of mossy stone bricks as well as cracked stone bricks, just so it looks a little bit weathered and worn. Probably work that way. Probably we want to keep... Do we want to keep this side or do we want to keep that side? I think we'll keep this side. This side actually looks a lot nicer. I did trap a sea turtle as well. I need to find another one to start breeding, so I want a sea turtle helmet. And we also done a whole bunch of adventuring. The realm sort of moderators or the government wanted for someone to find a jungle biome. I ended up having to travel 13,000 blocks away to be able to find a jungle biome. It took me about 4 hours of exploring to find it. But while exploring, I did actually find a few decent things, like a load of goodies in our goodies chest. I found a bunch of emeralds in different temples and the sunken things, and we've got 7 hearts of the sea now, so we've got enough conduits to probably place quite a few around the island, so when we want to build out into the ocean we can. We also want to be using one of them to take on an ocean monument, so there's lots of bits and pieces I actually want to do, and I'm quite happy with where we are at the moment. So I'm going to crack on and get this slime chunk dug out and sort of figure out a farm design of what I want to do with it. So yeah, I guess I'll catch you back in a bit. But then guys, so it is about 5-6 hours later. I actually had a break in between because I didn't realise just how tedious and slow it is digging a hole this big out without using a haze beacon. Yeah, it's been a while since I've done this sort of dig without using a haze beacon. So I'm definitely eager to get a beacon on the go. So that must be the one spot in this whole area that a mob can spawn. So yeah, I've cleared out the entire 16 by 16 chunk and then also a perimeter of 3 all the way around the chunk. So then we can have the full size platforms for where the slimes can spawn. I'm thinking of keeping these areas open with some glass or windows, and I may go back through at a later time and replace all the granite and diorite and whatnot in the walls. But as for progress, this is about as far as I've gotten so far. I've also been doing bits and pieces in between digging. I was running around getting all the different saplings for the different tree types, growing a bunch of them, reproducing saplings, and I started growing some pumpkins because we really want these to light up our platforms because slimes can actually spawn on these. It seems to be the only light source that they can spawn on without it blocking their spawns. So what I may actually do for the time being is just build the platforms. So it's going to be a while before I've got enough jack-o'-lanterns in order to cover the whole area, the platforms that we're going to be building. So I may just torch up the platforms that I build for the time being. I think it's probably going to be the best bet. And what we're going to be doing for the kill floor is pretty much your simple slime kill floor. Kill floor is just water streams leading the slimes onto a section of magma blocks, and then and then from there having a hopper minecart collect the drops underneath the magma blocks and drop it off to a chest. I'm gonna have to do something about this ladder. I'm gonna have to move it back by about 3 or 4 because it's gonna be really in my way. So I'm just going to do the floor out of the netherrack because I've got a bunch of that's going to waste and I've not actually got any plans on using that for anything. So really we do want a level for our rail, which can be there, which means we want the magma blocks there, and then we want at least a line of 3 of them. And then from there, obviously we're going to be losing a few of our spawning spots by doing this, but there's not much that I can do about that. And then from here, we want to go a 1. So here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we're pretty much going to have the floor looking like this now. And then we're going to have our rails there going along there. I've made, how much rail have I got? I've managed to make 36 powered rail. I was sort of running out of gold. I've got a bunch of gold ore up there that I've just not yet smelted. But here we go. It's like you've got the 3 magma blocks there. And then a line of 8. So then the water will stop directly before the magma blocks. And then we've got a line of 7 and then the end bit here. By doing this, we're losing around about, what, 1 or 2 levels of spawning platforms that we could have potentially, but we got to sort of ship them off. It's either that or we have empty minecarts running back and forth to pick them up and drop them off onto the magma blocks, but that is really not cost efficient this early on in the sort of game. I'm struggling for resources a little bit. Clearing this area out has supplied me with more than enough granite, andesite and stone to cover me for any sort of large scale builds in the near future. But for now, I'm going to quickly go ahead and do all of this floor laying. So yeah, here we go. Alright, so that didn't actually take me too long at all to actually get done. I just chose to go with stone bricks for the actual platforms because that is a resource that we've just got ridiculous amounts of, just untold amounts of stone from clearing the area out. Now, a load of people were online, most of them have gone off now. I think there's only one other person on. So, hopefully we may see some slimes. I do know that we've got another slime chunk nearby in that direction, which could be taking up the cap, and I also know that having a ceiling above the farm actually limits its spawns. So what I may do in between this episode and the next is probably start clearing out the whole area above the actual spawning platforms to hopefully increase rates to actually be able to get some slimes. Because at the moment it does not look too promising. With this, how many platforms we've got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 7 platforms of 16 by 16. But also when they spawn, we've got nothing to draw them off the platforms at the moment. So one of my reasons for grinding pumpkins, besides the jack-o'-lanterns, is to make some snow golems. Snow golems, the slimes actually get attracted to and try to fight just as though they do with the iron golems, but snow golems are a much cheaper alternative than to be using 4 blocks of iron for every single golem that we're going to need, because we're going to need a fair few. We probably won't have any for the first and second layer, but the bottom 4 will probably have 1 for each layer, so that'll be what, 4, 8, 12, 16 snow golems that will have to place into either side just to draw them off the platforms if and when they do spawn. Now, I'm about 99.9% sure that this chunk is a slime chunk because you all saw that there was a slime in it, but the spawns around here are a little bit finicky due to the amount of drowned that sort of spawn around the island, which is a little bit unfortunate. Although the mob cap for slimes, well, not the mob cap, but the priority of slime spawning has actually been increased. It doesn't prevent the fact that the amount of mobs that were loaded just moments ago by, I think there was 6 people online around about 20 minutes to half an hour ago. I'm not too sure if that limit is taken into account, but I am aware that no matter where we swim around here, there's usually a fair few drowned dotted about. We just take a little swim, so we've got a couple just up there that's going to be included in our cap for this area. And this guy's got a trident. Are you going to drop it for me? No, but he did drop some gold, which is a... Ow! Ow! Okay, I get it. Go away now. Get rid of him. Yeah, you... words. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, what I was about to say is that you don't actually need the drowned to be holding the trident. There is a bug in the current loot table for converted drowns that they don't actually drop any loot whatsoever. So doing a drowned converter on our zombie farm in order to get tridents, I tried it, and when I wasn't getting any drops I was a little bit suspicious, looked about online, and yeah, there's a bit of a bug with it at the moment, so only naturally spawned drowned actually drop loot. Oh, these guys are dropping gold like nothing. Let's just go around here farming for gold. But that's probably what we're gonna call it for on our slime farm for today, because until our pumpkins are sort of grown and I've got the snow golems in place, I don't think we're going to really see much change in that. What I thought we could work on before we head off so that I can progress with it afterwards is some form of a design for... I hate these guys near my crops, go away. Design for our words, sort of reinforced wall around the edges of our island. Someone else has just joined now, so that's going to be affecting our spawns anyway if we was waiting for them. So if we get some stone bricks, and let's just make a stack of stone stairs, some stone walls, some stone slabs, and what do you need to make chiseled? So make it just stone slabs, stone brick slabs. And make a bunch more of them, a bunch more of them, and we've got our walls, stairs, chiseled, whatnots. So let's get a bunch of this stuff off our hotbar, these guys on, and then we sort of work something out. Now I will be going in and swapping some bits and pieces. Now, is this the beach that we want to keep? I know that we've got 2 main beaches. We've got one over there. I think I may want to keep that one because it's on like a curve, which I like. This one I'll probably cut away that little island at the back or make use for it to something else at a later time. But walls like this one here, we're probably going to be changing the entire floor type anyway. And what we want to do is we really want to be bringing the stones from around about there and bringing up a reinforced wall to roughly about this height. I say about there. It's a decent height. That way we won't get any drown sort of coming up, and then we probably want it in segments of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And do that. Oh, that pufferfish is after me. Is there any way of getting... Have we got a bow on us? I do believe we have. Last thing I want... Oh my god, what is this? Attack of the pufferfish. And drowned. Hey, these waters are dangerous. Oh, sweet trident. And... my aim's a little bit rusty. Get rid of that one. We'll go pick up this trident though. Always handy to have. I've been trying my best to get the channeling enchantment, so then we could start charging some creepers and getting some mob heads, because I'm fairly sure that they will be a well sought after sort of commodity on the server. We do something like that, and then let's just bring No, we don't want that like that. I actually wanted the stair to face the other way. Probably want to bring... Do we want it there? Or do we want it, say, there? That seems very, very small if I do it there. I think that should be fine. And then, hello everyone. What's going on? I'll say hello to him in a bit after I sort of figured out a miniature design for this thing. Then I want to bring out some supporting legs just out the front. Like so. And then I want to add a little bit of details, so maybe some chiseled. And then we probably want to bring the wall back a bit. Let's bring up the reinforcing structure just at the bottom there a little bit. And what do you think about having a different colour, like a wood type behind there? Because I think if we just do it all out of stone, it's not going to look too great. So I think if we get a wood type, I'm thinking the acacia is grey and it's a different sort of texture, which could look fairly decent. But I've got an idea. I think we've got all the different wood types anyway, so I think we want to go for a lighter colour rather than a darker one. But I guess we could try a darker one. And dark jungle. Grab some acacia as well just to see how it looks. Head on back over here. So let's go with just straight up dark wood, dark oak. Let's just see how that looks. I was initially just planning on going straight up with the stone all the way around, but looking at it, I reckon it will be a little bit plain. That doesn't look half bad, actually. I think we need to see what it would look like with a brighter colour. My axe. Thank you. So, cut you down. And let's try, what I'm thinking is stripped birch, because I really do like the way that the stripped birch looks. So if we do that, obviously we're not going to go with the black and white cowl pattern on the actual logs. No one likes that, I don't think. And then let's just strip all of these. Like that. I think doesn't actually look too bad. I do think it needs a couple of little details added to it. Ow! Come on! Give me a break, will you? Get lost. Okay. So... it doesn't look too bad. I do like it. And it looks sort of weathered as well. Like it's been damaged by the water. There we go, with my T's again. And then for this side, it's not really going to matter because our floor or our path in is going to be right the way up to here anyway. But what I think we could probably do is get something else on a bar. How about some stone walls up there? Yeah, I reckon we could probably add one or two more details and probably have like a lantern hanging there. So that way the entire sort of boundary of our entire island will be lit up. I do actually like the way that looks. What other wood did I get on me? We can give the acacia a go, and we'll just see how that looks. The acacia I like because it's got like a grey, just similar to our stone, but it's got a completely different texture to it. Unless you wanted me to see what the orange would look like, but I guess we could do both. If we do that, take a step back. Yeah, I think that just looks a little bit too plain and boring. Let's see what orange looks like. You know what, that is not actually half bad. I'm now torn between acacia. Jungle wood I would go with, but it's got a really weird sort of texture to it. Not a texture, but a colour. It's got like a hue of pink in it, and I don't really like it all that much. Although it's one of the woods that is easiest to get. I would go with spruce, but spruce I'm planning on using as a roofing sort of colour for some of our builds that I'm planning around here. So I really don't want to be using that for this right now. But we've got a bunch of jungle on us. Right, I can show you what I mean about the jungle. I'm not sure if the logs have it without. We strip that. Yes, it's got like a weird pinkish sort of green tinge to it. I think it might look good for palm trees. That's like the palm tree's trunk, but other than that, I reckon it's a tear between acacia and the birch stripped. What else could we possibly do to add a couple bit more detail? Let's throw some stairs in here, and instead of having these squared, we can have them sort of rounded. Yeah, that looks nice. I like that. Let's just quickly grab a lantern as well and see how that looks if we throw one of them in there. I think it should look fairly decent. We have got some other lighting options. I've not actually made any lanterns yet. Nuggets, thank you. Can we make them in our pocket? No, I don't think you can. It's this 8 nuggets around a torch, so it's going to be a 3x3, isn't it? So let me grab one of these guys. Where were we? Over here. Whoa. You see that? My screen was just shaking. Yeah, it is sort of like shaking a little bit for some reason. Don't know what that's all about. We whacked like a little lantern just there. And the colour of the acacia actually hides the orangey bit around the actual light quite well. But it still stands out enough to be noticed. I may change the stone brick walls for cobblestone walls at the top. So let's get rid of these guys. And let's just see what that looks like before we end today's episode off. Just so that I've got a sort of idea of where I'm going to be going with it. Oh my god, my inventory. Okay, get out. Oh, that was the wrong chest, wasn't it? But you. Get rid of the gold. Let's grab some cobblestone. Mix some walls. Now, bearing in mind, there will be a bit more colour variation once it's done, because after I build it all, then I'll go around with the cracked stone bricks, and I'll go around with mossy stone bricks, and I will actually sort of just knock out blocks here and there, make it look a little bit weathered and worn. But the cobblestone does add just another different texture, and it makes it stand out a little bit more, which I actually like quite a lot. Yeah, I think I'm quite happy with that. I think I will actually go with acacia. I think the birch only looks good because it's backing onto the sand at the moment, so the colour is matching a lot more, but I think acacia stands out, and it's a wood type that I don't really use very often in any of my builds, and I'd be quite happy to give it a go and see how it turns out. And plus, if we end up not really liking it once it's done, we can always tear out the wood sections and replace them. But I'm quite happy with the way that looks, and what I'll do is I'm not going to be having rounded edges going around. I'm going to be doing hard corners, so that is my plan for that. So I'll probably carry this on, carve out the island how I want it. So I'll probably bring this in another couple of sections and then bring it out a few, cut this end bit off and just run the reinforced wall straight across this edge here. And then probably this is our beach that I think we're leaving. Or is it the other one? I think it's that one over there. It's the one that's got the turtle on that we want to be keeping. I think there's 3 beaches surrounding this place. I may actually keep 2 of the beaches. I'd need to make some decisions. I'm proper indecisive at the moment. But what we'll do is she seems to want me to go to sleep. So I'll see if I can do that. Yeah, managed to sleep the night away. I was planning on seeing what that would look like with the light, but I think that in the next episode you'll get a better look at what I'm going for, because I would have done, well, I'm hoping to have done quite a bit of it. But before we end the episode off, I just want to pop down and see if we've had any luck whatsoever with getting any slimes while we've been around here killing stuff. And I'm going to have to harvest up a bunch more acacia, and I think the stone that we've got should do us. I think we've got, like, most of these are full. That one's half full and that one is full, so we've got a good, like, maybe 4 double chests full of stone should cover us. Let's hop on down here. What I'll probably do is down here, I'm probably going to put my AFK fisher back over there, and then when I'm not actually working on the wall, I can come down here, go to the fisher while I'm doing bits and pieces, and that way I'm near to the slime, but not so close that it will prevent them from spawning. But yeah, we haven't got any luck so far. I'm sure come tomorrow that they'll just randomly decide to start spawning again. They'll realise it's a slime chunk, and yes, we actually want to spawn there. But for today, I think that's going to do it. So hopefully you've enjoyed today's episode. Hopefully you got a sort of decent idea as to the look that I want to go for on the sort of base level of our island. I actually want to look like it's proper reinforced and sturdy and not just natural, because in my single player world I've gone for just a very natural and working with the terrain sort of style. This one I actually want to make it look like we've done work to reinforce and structure and make sure everything looks proper and nice. So yeah, I think that's going to do it. So hopefully you've enjoyed today's episode, and I'll hopefully see you all in the next one. Bye bye.